I'm Dana Ivey, and you're listening to You Might Know Her From with Ann and Damien.
Okay, Damien, there's something that I wanted to posit to you and really just open up the floor. Since we have been on hiatus, on the main feed, so to speak, you, in the interim, have become a tattoo person.
Is that right?
I think that's right. And I don't know if our listeners are aware of that, but I feel like it's something you have been contemplating for a long time. And I just think it's an important marker in terms of the evolution of both of us in this You Might Know Her From universe. Because I remember years ago, a friend of ours at the time was like, are you sure that you're ready to live that life of a tattoo person? Because he was a very tattooed person. And you were like, oh, I'm thinking about getting so-and-so. This was like 15 years ago. And he was like, are you sure you're about that life? And I was like, what are you talking? Like, who says that? And then I was like, oh, maybe Damien is a tattoo person now. And you are about that life.
I am about that life, I suppose, but I do realize that it does, people do see you differently.
Isn't it interesting?
Because of tattoos, but I don't feel, and maybe that will change over time because I feel like I probably will complete sleeves at this point. And so maybe when I'm all sleeved up, that will be different, but I don't know. I remember that person saying that and thinking, what the fuck are you talking about?
It was a really annoying comment for what it's worth.
And presently, I still feel like it is that person was wrapping up a lot of their self-identity and I think confidence in their tattoos. I think that for me, it's something that I wanted, but was is it something I want for forever? And the answer to that is still, I don't know, but they're here and I'm not getting them removed, but I love them. They are pieces of artwork. So yeah, I hope you're listening, old friend, and I hope that you're still living that life. I guess I am too. I still didn't get that tattoo that I was talking about 15 years ago, though, which will hopefully be my next one.
Yeah, I wasn't going to rat you out on the record.
Yeah, you can't tell because just like baby names, bitches be stealing tattooed ideas.
And also, I think the big tattoo that you got first, your second tattoo, but your big tattoo is it was like an evolution with the artist, It was maybe you imagined it as something, then it became something else, and it's incredible.
Thank you so much. Well, hello and welcome back to You Might Know Her From with Ann and Damien. I guess if you're new to the show, that was about me getting tattoos. But if you're new to the show, this is our long-running podcast where we mere queerdo, best friends, actress invested fans of pop culture and media and art sit down and we shoot our shit together, usually about some gay shit. And then we interview an actor every episode. And so we're so glad to be back here for season 7. And we are here weekly, which is something that has been long in the making to make the efforts to get here and be weekly. So thank you for supporting us. Thank you if you're supporting us in the Patreon, which is definitely the best way to get us to keep doing this show. So yeah, if you're not, please consider it. We would appreciate your generosity. And also a free way to support us is to leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening to this. So
and leave a little comment, leave a little text, not just the 5 stars. We love a few words,
write something.
A shrimp emoji, something about body talk, an actress that you'd love to see. We take any and all text. If it's a negative review, keep it to yourself. But otherwise, like Damien said, find us on the Patreon. That's what keeps this show on the road. I wanted to share with you, selfishly, Damien, that I really thought I was going to be a tattoo person younger in life. In my earlier years, and I really wanted at 16 to get an armband tattoo, but
like Mel B,
like Mel C, and I wanted it to be a Libra chain, like a Libra scales, and then have that chain around my arm, meaning the scales would intertwine.
I understand.
I had a whole vision, and then my secondary vision, if I wasn't going to go for that, was going to be a la Janet Jackson in what's the music video where she has the henna tattooed and her hair? It's like post velvet rope, and she's all around the world. It's like the all around the world tour song where she's hopping from continent to continent. Anyway.
Is it that?
No, I'm going to post the video in the show notes, but maybe all for you. I think all for you.
I think it might be.
So she had this henna tattoo around her belly button. And I was like, that's what I got to get. That's definitely what I got to get. That's going to age well at 16. So I remember telling my parents, this is what I want. I think I either want to.
How'd that go over with them?
They said, great. We fully support it. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I don't know what I thought the response was going to be. I think I thought I would get a little pushback. My parents were very lenient, but I am so grateful.
You had cool former hippie parents. I mean, they were very supportive and and I guess you were also the youngest, so you also got them at they were tired.
Totally. And they were like, these are battles not worth fighting.
Yeah.
We've been through it before. So I'm really grateful that I hesitated on my own front, not because I don't like tattoos. I do. I really find them attractive on other people. I've thought about them for myself for a long time, but I currently don't have any. But I'm grateful that I didn't say like, oh, great, mom and dad, I'm going to find a place to go get this tattoo done or do it myself with a stick and poke. Like, I'm glad I didn't do it because I think the armband in particular or the stomach, both would have been horrendous additions.
I'm going to say that I think the stomach would have been worse, Anne.
Yeah.
I know that you're thinking about what it would be to have the scales of justice.
Well, the henna
wrapped
tattoo
around.
also feels sort of like appropriative in a way that is really problematic. And also like, yeah, I pierced my own cartilage, and I think that satisfied the urge to sort of do some cartoon version of rebelling against my parents who did not need to be rebelled against. Anyway, I really love your tattoos, and I think I have a family member that's living that tattoo life too, and I feel like you guys are in conversation, and I love that.
I love it too. I love talking to your relative.
It's my brother. It's fine. I don't associate my blood family with the word relative. Okay, it's just I don't like to say relative because I think of my blood family as being like my family, and anybody else that's my extended family, those are relatives. So it's not my relative. It's my brother who I love, and I'm very close with. You said relative.
You were trying to be mysterious. And also like, it's like sometimes I don't know that anyone cares enough to be like trying to put together who our families are, but it's
these are the things that you and I would have done for other people. Like if we listened to their podcast, I'd be like, oh, let me find like their family, not because I'm stalking them, just because I'm interested.
Totally. Like, oh my God, wait, did you hear that her brother has like a bunch of tattoos? I want to see what kind of tattoo person he is.
I know. This is why you and I have this podcast, because we have the same brain in this way. I just was trying to protect my brother.
You know what I'm talking about, right? We both would have been like, she has a brother. I think I probably looked up her brother.
Yeah. Yep. I was just trying to protect my brother at all costs.
Well, it is an interesting thing. Like I forget sometimes that I have tattoos and people will have comments about them or be like, is that new? And I'm like, not really. Or they'll just be like, oh, wow, can I see more? And they'll be like, oh. A woman stopped me in the park over the summer and she was like, I just have to ask you. And I was so prepared to like be complimented. She was like, I just have to ask you because this is like the third time I've seen you in the park. Why Miss Piggy? And I like was so speechless because it was such a weird, I thought she was going to be like, I have to stop you. Like, who's the artist? When did you get it done? And I don't think overly confident, but like my tattoos, I think are pretty like good. And so I was sort of like, okay, that was not what I was expecting, but also it wasn't a compliment. It was like, why? Opposed to being like, I love Miss Piggy or something. And thankfully, I was with our friend Heather. We were taking a walk and she because I was at a loss for words, which I never am. And she was actually like, because she's iconic.
I love you, Heather.
And I was like so appreciative of her filling in the dead space because it was so weird. And the one was like, oh. And it was like, because she's like iconic. Like, why not? And I was like, yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Period. I hope that woman went home and Googled, like, why is Miss Piggy iconic? And she spent some time with that herself. Like, she needs to reflect. Something
else about the Miss Piggy piece that is interesting, though, is that now that I have a Miss Piggy tattoo, I'm literally as an undershirt currently wearing a Miss Piggy t-shirt.
Yeah.
I can't wear this shirt anymore without a shirt over it because now I have a Miss Piggy t-shirt on top of a Miss Piggy tattoo. And so that is interesting because I think because I have Miss Piggy now tattooed on my body, people, including my family, not relatives, but my family who knows that I've loved the Muppets since I was a child, now like get me lots of Muppet things. And I'm so appreciative of the thoughtfulness of it. And some of it is great. It's like, okay, I love a Miss Piggy Christmas ornament. But then I'm also like, I can't have like lots of shirts that have Miss Piggy on them because now it's like a hat on a hat. It's like, I'm not a person who's like obsessed with Miss Piggy or the Muppets. I love them. They are comedic influences. They make me happy. They're a safe place. They help with my nervous system relax, like all of that. But I don't need to be a person who's like, oh, like he has tattoos of the Muppets and wears clothes with the Muppets and has like kitchen stuff that has the Muppets.
You go to his house and he has like a whole
I have water glasses that are the Muppets and Christmas ornaments that are the Muppets and like doll. And it's like,
is it concerning at a certain point?
Correct.
Yes.
So I'm not that kind of guy. Just to be clear, I'm a cool tattoo guy. I'm all about that lifestyle. But you know what other kind of lifestyle I'm all about? I'm all about actresses. And I love coming to this show. I love getting to sit with my best friend in the whole world and just talk about the dumbest things and also the smartest things, and also get to really talk to women, film, TV, and theater that we have respected and loved their work for years. And that is absolutely the way we feel about this week's guest, Dana Ivey. I feel like we had long courted Dana Ivey. I feel like she is so representative of what this show is about. She is one of those faces that you're like, who's that? I know her. I know her. I know her. And I think so many people who are millennials know her from the Addams Family films and also from Home Alone 2, but she's also this formative theatrical force. And it was just such a privilege to get to chat with her and also get to do it in person to boot.
You might know her from The Addams Family,
Addams Family Values,
Home Alone 2,
The Color Purple,
2 Weeks Notice,
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels,
Rush Hour 3,
Ocean's 8,
and the original theatrical productions of Sunday in the Park with George, The Last Night of Ballyhoo, and Driving Miss Daisy.
What a huge day. I feel like this has long been in the making, and we've been manifesting and willing this to You Might Know Her From. And we are here today with 5-time Tony nominee Dana Ivey. Dana, thank you for being here on the show.
My pleasure.
You're a prolific stage actor. That is without question. You've appeared in over 15 Broadway shows, including Sunday in the Park with George, The Last Night of Ballyhoo. You also originated the iconic role of Daisy in the off-Broadway production of Driving Miss Daisy. You've appeared in some of the most popular and beloved films of the last 40 years. I'm going to do a little laundry list for our listeners. The Color Purple, the Addams Family movies, Heartburn, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, Postcards from the Edge, Home Alone 2, 2 Weeks Notice, Rush Hour 3, Sabrina, Ocean's 8, and The Help, to just name a few. We're going to get into everything.
I think you named them all.
We're going to get into everything. But what would you say is the role that most people stop you on the street for?
That's interesting. Probably Home Alone or Addams Family.
Okay.
One or the other. I get fan mail that usually has pictures from one of those two movies that they want me to sign. Mm-hmm. I rarely get something from the theater.
Interesting. Because theater folks are fervent fans also. They're just probably think it's like I would never do that to Miss Dana Ivey.
I think it's a different thing. I think that there are a lot of fans for movies, and they really are huge collectors of, I don't know, memorabilia of some kind. I guess maybe theater folks are just a little more laid back about it.
Yeah, and also it's ephemeral. So I feel like the joy and beauty of films, and also probably the intensity of it, is people have seen Home Alone 2 like 42 times.
Yes, exactly.
Every Christmas,
this is intense.
Well, see, I'm very lucky that I did Addams Family and Home Alone 2 because they're both holiday movies.
Oh, that's so true.
They come out every year, and I get a little residual. So that's nice.
That's a nice touch. That's a good call. So we've talked about some of our favorite performances of yours. You're known for these sort of scene-stealing moments, and one of my favorite bits that you
I'm glad to be known for that. I had no idea.
No, you are.
Thank you for telling me.
100%. We love your physicality, and as we were going back through your oeuvre, I was remembering your scene in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels where you bow over and over to Michael Caine, and I was wondering, like, when you have to pop in for a single scene or try to just nail something, do you build a backstory for these characters, or do you just go in and shoot from the hip? Was that bow your idea? It was really good.
Yeah, it's just shooting from the hip. It's just instinct and just seeing what the moment calls for.
Yeah, that bow was really good.
I'm glad you liked it.
It reminded me of the woman from The Sound of Music. Do you remember before the Von Trapp sing, and she's that Bavarian woman that does the repeated bow over and over? Anyway.
It's a great comedic bit. Dana, your mom's name is Mary Nell Santa Croce?
Santa Croce, that's the name of my stepfather.
Santa Croce.
She remarried, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm, Santa Croce.
So John Huston, who directed your mother in his film Wise Blood, and he called her one of the 3 or 4 greatest actresses in the world.
I know, wasn't that nice?
What a beautiful, what a beautiful
What a lovely
sentiment. It's like high
tribute to her.
praise.
Yes, who knows whether you can believe John Huston in anything that he says, but it was very nice.
Besides her talent, like, do you think you inherited any of your mom's like technique or style, anything specific?
I don't know how to know. And yes, I inherited her immense love of language from a very early age. And I was around her doing theater all her life. So I must have, by osmosis, gotten a lot from her. But I can't specifically say one thing or another.
But sometimes it's like the essence, right? Even just that.
Totally. Although I do believe she was a slightly bigger ham than I am.
Did you grow up backstage with her and like in dressing rooms, or what did that look like?
Because this was amateur theater in Atlanta, Georgia, when I was growing up, and I just, and the plays that I got to see were often vetted because I couldn't be taken as a child to certain kinds of plays. She also directed the plays at Georgia Tech for 20 years, and I went to see all of those, although some of those were vetted. I couldn't see those, depending on the subject matter or what happened in them. But I did go to see all of them, and then when I was maybe 15, I started appearing in them, and I played every maid in the world, because at that time, Georgia Tech was still all male, so they needed girls for certain things.
Oh, wow.
So I played all kinds of maids in plays at Georgia Tech that my mother was directing. So I was just around it all the time. And it wasn't so much she was a director in my mind more than an actress with the theater because of Georgia Tech.
Yeah. We were talking about how you've done so much stage work. When you transitioned to go on screen, did you feel like you had to make a big adjustment about what that meant to be acting in front of the camera?
I did. I don't think of myself as being a big person, but I apparently really use my body and my face a lot when I'm acting. And I had one director, this was after I'd actually done a couple of movies, but it was always I felt constrained a little bit in front of the camera. And I had one director tell me, this isn't a clown show, And that was the time.
Was that helpful direction?
I went home from that shoot the very first day and cried all night and didn't want to have to go back because I felt under the gun so badly. Yeah, that director did not appreciate me, and how I got cast in that, I don't know. So yes, it was a change for me, and something that I feel I never fully conquered.
Because the approach to the work is the same, but it's the way you're expressing it on your face and body you have to be more mindful of?
Yes, I feel so. I feel that, well, as somebody says, in a close-up, you're 40 feet high on a screen if people still go to the theater. I just am an expressive person in that sense. And so I feel like really good movie acting, you can do so little with just barely raising an eyebrow.
Yeah.
That's not something I would do. So I just felt very constrained. Yeah, it didn't feel totally real for me.
It's very interesting because we live in New York, and we are theater, fans. We were
aficionados.
We were students of theater at one point in our lives, and so I feel like we are so partial to the theater. But in this project, I feel like we get to see people that were like, I don't have any theater training, or maybe that is not their preference. But then you are like, oh, you do get something about how you move your eyebrow on camera that is pretty remarkable and is its own talent, I feel.
Right.
I think that movie actors who are really successful are just amazing, because I don't know how they do that. And having had the experience of doing a lot of films, I've never had to maintain a serious character over the space of a film. And how real actors play something here and then have to pick it up a month later that's a continuation of that scene with the same intensity and the same truthfulness and authenticity is just something that amazes me. I don't know how they do it.
Because in the theater, you're able to build to the arc of the character.
Yes.
Whereas if you're filming out of chronological order a movie, it's like, okay, you have to get where you were at the beginning. Yeah.
Well, exactly. And especially if it's a small moment or a tender moment or just I don't know how they do it. I mean, in the theater, we rule it's from 3 hours nonstop.
Right.
So you're in charge. But with the camera there and everything else that's going on, I feel like I'm in an arena and the lions are coming for me.
I was thinking along these lines because you've worked with so many screen legends. We're just going to name a few of them. And I'd love to hear if any of these people or somebody else you think qualifies as a great film actor based on your specifications. So we were looking through your IMDb. You've worked with the likes of Jenna Rollins, Rex Harrison, Cicely Tyson, Tom Hanks, Tim Curry, Rita Moreno, Lauren Bacall, Rosemary Harris, Kathleen Turner, George C. Scott, Morgan Freeman, Bernadette Peters, Michael Caine, Oprah Winfrey, and Nathan Lane. Do any of those people speak to you as great film actors?
Gosh, that was a long list. It's hard to even remember some of who you said. And some of those people are my friends now. So a lot of them are really good film actors. I think Lauren Bacall pretty much got it down.
Yeah, good call. Good call. Right.
And so I guess I have to pick her.
Yeah.
As a real film animal in some way.
And then you got to work with her on the stage, which is also
And I
very
did,
cool.
and that was a really extraordinary experience.
Yeah.
And she was a great gal.
Yeah. So we're going to get another laundry list because this career, as you said, you've worked with so many heavy-hitting directors. We're interested in which of the directors that you've worked with on film specifically spoke to your language as an actor or maybe spoke best to your talents. I don't know if it's helpful for a list or if there's somebody that speaks to you off the top of your head.
Well, read a list.
Sure. Let's do it because it is impressive. So Steven Spielberg, Mike Nichols, Nora Ephron, Woody Allen, Brett Ratner, Frank Oz, Chris Columbus, Stanley Tucci, Roland Jaffe, Sidney Pollack, Gary Ross, Tate Taylor, Zoe Cassavetes.
Well, some of those people I don't even remember. I'm sorry. I mean, some of those people, I think I might have had one line in something, and so I don't even remember who the director is.
Yeah.
But of all of those, I would say Stanley Tucci because he's an actor.
Yeah.
And I tell you, on The Imposters, I don't think I've ever had so much fun on a film in my life. It was a bunch of theater people in New York filming in Queens, and it was like a theater company, and it was just a ball. And Stanley knows how to talk to actors because he is one.
Yeah.
One of your earliest roles, and maybe one that is one of your maybe most iconic captured on celluloid, is Miss Millie in The Color Purple. And that is one of your early film roles, and it's also Oprah Winfrey's first feature film role.
Yeah.
You have this very intense scene with her. Did the two of you have a chance to discuss or rehearse this like very painful gas station scene, or was it all like we're capturing that first take?
No, it was not. We didn't really discuss. And in this kind of film, I mean, I've only once or twice worked with a director who did rehearsal before the filming started. We just ran through it, for the camera and blocking and that sort of stuff. So it was very much what each of us just brought to the moment.
Yeah. It's such an iconic and heartbreak. Like, we revisited it in preparation for this, and it is so iconic, but obviously so painful and dark. But yes, you are sort of captured in time in that moment, in that iconic scene.
Well, I guess she and I both knew where we were coming from. I am from the South. I know who that person is. And I grew up in a time when that was still around a lot in the area that I grew up in. So I don't think there was a lot of rumination necessary.
So you're from Atlanta, as you were saying, with speaking about your mom and her career. You seem to have a long-standing relationship with playwright Alfred Ury. You headlined the original off-Broadway production of his play Driving Miss Daisy alongside Morgan Freeman, as well as the Broadway premiere of The Last Night of Ballyhoo. Ury has thanked you publicly for your contributions to Driving Miss Daisy. Can you talk about like any of the specifics of what you brought to that characterization that made it into the eventual play and production?
That's an interesting question, and I don't know that I can answer it. Alfred and I are very good friends now, but the first time I met him was to audition for Driving Miss Daisy, and we got on well because we were both from Atlanta. So I guess maybe that's part of why I got the part. I think that Alfred just really appreciated my complete and total understanding of who that woman could be in that place and time. It's a play about a Jewish woman who was his grandmother or aunt or something. But as Alfred always says, he's a Southerner first. And so the Southern part of it was the stuff that was really, really important to him. And that was just in my bones. I think he just really appreciated the fact that I knew where to go with it instinctively.
Yeah.
So the play won the Pulitzer Prize, and in 1989 was adapted into the film with Morgan Freeman and Jessica Tandy in your role. Did you ever have an opportunity to audition for the film? And did you ever see the movie when it came out?
I paid $8 to go see the movie.
Come
You did go see the movie.
I had to pay to go and see my local theater. Yeah, I did feel a little passed over, but
Yeah, of
I
course.
was at least Jessica Tandy was older than I was and more fit for the part. I mean, I
Sure.
was doing it on stage with stage makeup.
Right.
Yeah. I could handle it, but on film, I thought if they had tried to get Meryl Streep, I would have been more upset. But
Right.
you
They
know,
got
it
an
makes sense.
older
Yes,
woman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's interesting you're talking about like Ury's identity as a Southerner. You're often cast as Southerners or as English. Like, what do you think that connective tissue is? Like, is your Southern identity important to your craft?
Well, those are two big questions. Okay. The first one about the English stuff. I've been an Anglophile all my life.
Okay.
I studied in England for a year on a Fulbright grant
Yeah.
at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art. And all it did was just steep me in my love of English theater. And I have a very good ear. My mother was also a speech therapist, so I grew up having my speech corrected all the time. So I have always loved British plays. So that's why I have done a lot of them. And because I can do a good accent, I guess I understand the sort of mentality, having lived there for a while, if there's any change in the mentality for a Brit or an American. I don't know. Traditionally, they say that there's a connection between a Southern accent and an English accent because of dropped consonants. So that may be part of it. I don't know. I think of it more as the fact that I absolutely adore British theater and have done a lot of British theater. And of course, I do Southern theater because that really is the core of who I am.
Yeah.
And I love being able to do it and show people this is what the South really sounds like and who Southern people really are. Because a lot of people who aren't Southern, especially Brits, don't understand the nuances.
The specificity is very cool, and we always like note that, like when someone is not just doing like Southern, but when they're actually getting down to like the very specific region of where you are in the South and what part. Yeah. Did you ever have a Southern accent to lose, or was that something that?
Well, I certainly had one when I was growing up. But my mother, as I said, she corrected me. I remember one evening at dinner when I asked as a teenager, can I have another piece of pie? And she said, pie is a diphthong. So I grew up having some of this stuff knocked out.
There was no way you couldn't become the person you are.
Totally.
Okay, so you've won Drama Desk's Obies, Outer Critics Circle Awards, and have been nominated for 5 Tonys, as we said. You were a double Tony nominee in 1984, Best Featured Actress in a Play and Musical. That was for, of course, George Bernard Shaw's Heartbreak House and Sunday in the Park with George. You were also nominated for The Last Night of Ballyhoo, The Rivals, and Butley. I know that no actor worth their salt does the work for the awards, but do any of those awards nominations stand out as particularly special for you?
Well, especially the first ones, because I didn't expect to get one. I mean, the first time you're ever nominated is going to be mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And to be nominated for 2 at the same time was just over the moon. I mean, really, really hard to just to take in.
Yeah.
So that was special. And because they were both 2 projects that I absolutely adored, and they were so different. And so it was just thrilling to be recognized for doing such a range of things, range of parts.
Can you talk a little bit about that Tony season? Was Rex Harrison also nominated with Heartbreak House?
Oh, with Heartbreak House.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wasn't sure if he was on the, Tony Awards circuit with you that season.
Not that I remember.
Yeah. Okay.
Mind you, it was my first, as you say, Tony Awards circuit. What do I know? I went to a luncheon and made a fool of myself for Tony Award nominees. I was just like, I was like the country mouse come to town. So I don't remember much of it.
But that's a pretty short list of people that are double nominees in the same season.
Yeah.
So that's very cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
And it's very cool to have been nominated for both a play and a musical.
Absolutely.
That are so widely divergent.
It speaks to your range of a person who does the classics and does straight theater but also can do musical comedy and Sondheim. It's very cool.
Yeah, it was very thrilling.
So speaking of, you're part of the original Broadway cast of Sunday in the Park with George. Famously, or I don't know, you'll tell me if this is true, but famously the show underwent many changes and was not frozen until a week before it opened. How did that rehearsal process differ from the development of a straight play?
Well, I don't know. As you may know, I was not brought in until they'd been rehearsing for 2 weeks because I replaced someone who was a friend of mine. So I came in and some of it had already been, they were working on the blocking, but they had an extra long rehearsal period because they were working it out, not going on the road for opening. So they were working it out over a 6-week period. And James was just doing a lot of changes with blocking and seeing how this worked and that worked and what sort of hit him. So it was a very, in some ways, loosey-goosey in that sense, trying and seeing what would stick on the wall kind of thing. I don't remember a lot of it except just trying a lot of different things because it was the first New York musical that I'd ever been in. And it was a Sondheim musical. It was a Broadway musical. And so I was just in a state of frenzy the entire time. In my head, it was like just... how can I manage to continue to do this?
It's a pretty incredible first New York musical.
It really was. And so it was a very exciting time for me. And also because I can sing, but I don't consider myself a singer. There were a lot of really good people in that. And I felt like, how am I going to keep up, So there was that anxiety as well.
Yeah.
Speaking of your musicality, do you think that it has contributed to your ability to sort of like work through multiple genres in classical theater or in highly stylized pieces like Noel Coward, Shakespeare, Oscar Wilde, etc.?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the musicality is one of the most important parts of conveying accent or speech or region or anything. And you can say all the same things with the correct pronunciation, but without the musicality, it doesn't sound real or authentic. So I think musicality is essential. And I really am grateful for all the music that I took when I was young, and the piano and the this and the that, and the singing groups that I was in high school, you know, mixed chorus and all that, and the choirs at church that I was in. Because I think musicality is essential to really making the language sing in a way that makes sense, that can land in an audience with sense and meaning, and often something that is moving.
Okay, Dana.
Oh, dear.
We just think you are like very brilliant in two of our favorites, which is the Addams Family and Addams Family Values. I feel like Addams Family Values is written by the brilliant Paul Rudnick. These are films I feel like really that resonate a lot with queer people. Also, I think that the tone and the style of the LGBT community, we love it, the Addams Family films. Your character, Margaret, is iconic. She's so funny. She has a great art. What was it like working on screen and like being in a romance with the Addams Family cousin It? Two T's. So there was a person, John Franklin, an actor, in a costume.
Yeah,
were
he
you
was very
acting
nice.
opposite him, or are you acting
He
opposite?
was in a cage that had hair all over it.
Oh, okay.
The poor guy, and they had just started developing these little individual fans to get him to try and keep him from just burning up inside this thing that was on top of him.
Oh my God.
And was he like doing the noise? Or
Yeah.
he was doing that like to you?
Yeah.
And for you, was it
Well,
like...
this was a very silly part.
but
This is a comedic
Was it?
part.
But were you like LOL, or were you like I'm like?
Oh, no, you do. All comedy has to be done as seriously
Okay,
as possible.
I mean, I agree, but no, I
Yeah.
wasn't sure if you were like,
No,
are you
that's the only way to make it successful. You have to be totally serious about it. You can't send it up. Of course. No, I was totally serious about this. Yes.
You're so good. It's so good.
It really is. To me, when I think of those movies, I really think of you. I feel like you really stand out. And it's you and Dan Hedaya in the first movie.
Yeah, you
Dan Hedaya, yeah.
you
guys
both
were so
actually,
great.
Like, really capture the tone. It's. I mean, the cast is pretty great.
Yeah, I was very fortunate. It was I was very lucky to be in that. It was
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Also, the red hair, really. Between that and, as you said,
Well,
Home Alone 2, maybe the red hair of those from that era, like really, I think.
auburn.
Well, that was something that I had heavy highlights put in my own hair. And in the, I'll never forget, it was my first real proper job in a movie. And I'd have to sit there in the makeup trailer every day, and they'd be teasing the hell out of my hair just to make this huge bouffant thing, with the little hairband. When we got to the second movie, I said, I only asked of the producer one thing. Can I please have a wig? So I got a wig the second time
That's
around.
smart.
Good.
That's what Nicole Kidman apparently talks about. She apparently only wears wigs because she hasn't wanted to touch her hair after years of them messing it up.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah. Okay, Damien and I were talking earlier today about how one of the great joys of this project that we've been doing for a number of years is unearthing work from an actress we admire that we were previously unfamiliar with. So for us, that was this sitcom called Easy Street that you were in with Loni Anderson. And as well, we're going to lump it together, the 1993 pilot that did not seem to go to air called Mama's Back, written by Ruby Wax and starring you and Joan Collins.
And a young Rupert Everett.
Oh my God, a young Rupert Everett.
And
Yes.
I watched it just the other day. I have it on a VHS, and I don't know where. I found it somewhere. I was going through a bunch of stuff in a cabinet.
Incredible.
We would love to hear whatever you want to share from those things, and also just interested in always with stage actors, what are the joys and horrors of working on a sitcom schedule?
Well, oh God, I love doing Easy Street because I had had a straight run of theater with no break for many, many, many years. And I actually said, I really would like to do something that has a little bit more of a 9-to-5 vibe to it,
Totally.
And this worked out. It came just sort of like you put it out to the universe. It sort of fell in my lap.
Yeah.
And it was great fun. I mean, it's right up my big expressive face and all that physicality. It was great fun because you do it in front of a small audience. So it's kind of theater in front of a camera, and it was easy and fun.
Yeah.
I really had a great time. the Ruby Wax thing, I was doing a play, the only play I've ever done in London. And I knew her because she was friends with somebody else I knew. And so she tapped me to be in this pilot she thought was going to go really great. And it was fun to do. I sort of did it on day off, while I was doing my theater piece. And I got to meet Rupert and, just had fun doing it. And Joan Collins.
It's wild.
Woo! That was such fun. It was great. It was just a hoot. But, they told her ultimately that they felt like she'd done the entire season in one episode, so they didn't want to pick it up.
That might be softening the blow. They were like, look, you did it. You were so great. We can't do anymore. Would love to see that. Would love to see that.
Well, I can be bribed.
Okay. We'll work on it. The price will be right.
Dana Ivey, we have now entered the part of the show that we call the rapid fire. We get odds and ends in that maybe don't have as much of there's not as many segues. Okay. You can take your time. It's really rapid fire for us. You appear in Sex in the City as the original owner of Elizabeth Taylor, the dog, formerly known as Princess Dandy Ridge Brandywine. And you also have a great name of Trudy Stork. Who is a more difficult scene partner? A pet, a dog, or a child?
This pet was very well trained.
It was a King Charles, a
I
cavalier.
don't remember anything. It was one day out of my life. I shot for one afternoon and get a lot of response for that afternoon. And I don't remember my character's name, the dog's name, anything about it. So I'm glad you have all of that information. I've worked with children a couple of times. Well, there's one that should not be mentioned. Yeah, not a great experience, but one child that was excellent on stage, but we had a lot of extra rehearsal with her, and this was for The Miracle Worker to play the young Helen Keller, and she was just found in Atlanta, and we worked with her for a week before we started real rehearsals with the dining room fight scene, and she turned out to be great, but she just was really following the rules and had never done anything before, so I guess she didn't have any kind of sense of what she could demand or something. But I've been around some kids on films that they have an overweening expectation of how they should be treated.
The dog, was that one of your only times working with an animal?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And he or she was well behaved?
Yes.
Okay, love.
Well trained.
Okay, great.
Just right for the part.
Maybe what's his name trained her? What was the...
Bill Berloni, who trains all of Broadway's
trainer in New York.
animals, apparently. While we're here, we might as well just go to Home Alone 2. You portray Hester Stone, the front desk attendant at the Plaza. And alongside Tim Curry and Rob Schneider, you're somewhat antagonists to Macaulay Culkin. While we're talking about kid actors, what kind of kid actor was Macaulay?
The film was all about him.
Yeah.
So what can you say?
Yeah.
Okay, in Ocean's 8, you appear, I love this so much, you appear opposite Marlo Thomas, Mary Louise Wilson, and Elizabeth Ashley as actresses who help the crew of women distribute the stolen gems.
Fence is the word.
This was such a great wink to fans of character actresses everywhere. Which of those women would you most trust to perform a heist with you? I feel like you must know them at least a little bit from New York theater scene, but at least Elizabeth Ashley and Mary Louise Wilson.
Yes. I know them all. I think they'd all be good in a heist. Yeah.
Okay.
So what was harder, Dana? Acting on the aggressively raked stage of Sunday in the Park with George, or being on two different film sets with the current president of the United States?
I have never met him. Please don't make my dreams worse. I didn't even know he was in movies that I was in.
Okay. Yeah. It was weird. We knew about Home Alone 2, obviously. That one's famous. And 2 weeks notice, I didn't realize he made an appearance in as well.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
I didn't either.
Forget it. Just
Yeah.
he's a man.
Yeah.
I'm going to let that go through my brain.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, but the rake stage was very difficult and took a lot of getting used to because I was also in what we would call buskins. My shoes were at least 4 or maybe even 5 inches high, these huge soles on my shoes to give me the length that I needed to have for the final picture with the child.
Oh my gosh.
Because in the painting, that woman seems very tall. And thin. So
were you in those for the entire production?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that seems irresponsible.
Well, it was really very clumpy and hard on a raked stage. And a raked stage is hard enough with regular feet.
Right.
But, like anything, once you get used to it, you get used to it, and it's just there.
Yeah.
Dana Ivey, if you could assemble your own panel for like a 1 hour theater talk with theater folk alive or dead, who would you choose? Give me 1 to 3 names.
Oh
People
my God.
alive or dead that you would want to, if you're moderating a theater talk
Oh my God.
artist.
Well, one of the first people that comes to mind is Nathan Lane. We both made our Broadway debuts in Present Laughter with George C. Scott.
Incredible.
So I've known him a long time, but not, he's gone off and done films and stuff. So I'm not keeping up with that part of his life at all. But certainly,
He's an incredible theater actor.
But he's an incredible theater actor.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And if it was not an actor, I would choose Mark Lamos, who has been my director 5 times.
Wow.
And I love him as a director. He was an actor and just knows the theater inside out, upside down, and backwards. So
Do you have like a shorthand with him that you feel like he just is able to tap into how to speak to you to give you direction and that makes sense to you?
Well, perhaps. I don't specify it as that. It's just, I guess we both sort of are coming from the same place about how to approach things. And what he gives me usually resonates. And I go, yeah, that makes sense. You know, so.
We know you're not related, but we have to ask you, now that we have you here in our seat, to ask if you have a friendship with fellow Southern character actress extraordinaire, Judith Ivey.
I know her. I know her to say hello to. And
Sure.
I think we did a reading together one time, but we are not related.
Yeah.
Okay, Dana Ivey, this is our last question, and it's an important one. You speak what appears to be French, Latin, and English in Rush Hour 3, opposite Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. You actually say to Chris Tucker, "Anytime, brother," on your way out of the scene.
That was my ad lib. And they loved it so much.
Yeah. I was imagining people like saying it to you on the street because you and your habit saying it with like a high five on the way out was
It's
so
so
iconic.
cool.
Yeah.
Dana Ivey, how many languages would you venture to say you've spoken both on stage and screen in your career?
Probably French and Latin.
Okay.
Only. I may have spoken a little Italian in some place sometime, but I don't. That's about it, I think. Okay. No, I think I might have spent. Maybe once I spoke a little German. But, and I did have to speak some Czechoslovakian, and I had to learn to pronounce it sort of phonetically in that play, Wenceslas Square.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so I played 3 different Czechoslovakian women in that. I had to speak English with 3 different Czechoslovakian accents because they came from different places in their, different classes. But I did have to speak some Czechoslovakian at some point.
Do you speak French, or did you just learn the French for that section in Rush Hour?
I felt so bad about that because I took French in school, and I took it many years, and I've studied it some, but not enough to be able to have a real conversation. So I could get that French, but I was so nervous about it that it was really hard. We had to do many takes for me to get it right because I was very stressed about getting it right.
But then you destroyed on the exit. So that's
Yeah.
really all that matters.
Exactly.
Dana Ivey, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you.
This is such a pleasure.
Thank you. It's been a real pleasure for me.
We really were courting Dana Ivey for a long time. And I think we both, I don't remember if we got a message that suggested that she had retired. So we really just thought it was maybe never going to happen. But in pre-production for season 7, we thought,
Let's shoot for the moon.
We're going hard,
Yeah.
we want to make a splash. We love doing this. So we said, let's try her again. And it happened. And then getting to sit in person and drink hot tea.
And
with
she brought
tea.
us little biscuits.
Oh, she brought biscuits.
It's always it's very rare that an actress brings something to the table. In
Jane
that
Howdy
way.
Shell, you and your rugoulash, I will never forget, baby.
We love it. Dana Ivey sweetly brought us some little lemon bars, and they were so delicious. And yeah, it kind of was one of those surreal moments where she's at my apartment drinking tea and being so kind and funny and easy. And when you look back at her career, it's just like hit after hit. And every time, I think when we started this podcast, you and I just said, Dana Ivey is exactly the person. She's in so many of our favorite things, and just so funny, and also just so good at dropping in. When I rewatch her scene in The Color Purple, or you're watching her doing heavy drama, you're like, oh, she's capable of so much. And one of my favorite things that we got to talk to her about was like the sort of English Southern connection and the musicality of all of the dialect work that she does and how she can elevate material or, you know, rise to a sort of stylized performance and also give like a really big, broad, funny, silly thing in Rush Hour 3. And
which is great. And that scene is available online, and Annie will link it out in the show notes.
Yeah.
Anne will. I don't know if I didn't say Annie, but I feel like it sounded like Annie. Anne will link it out in the show notes. But her performance in Rush Hour 3 is great. And also just like the fact, I was thinking about like some serious actors are like too serious to do comedy. But when you have a serious actor who gets comedy, they're kind of the best because they handle it with such reverence and like gravitas that then it is funnier. And she is so wonderful in the Addams Family films, which to me are just like queer canon. I mean, I think they are. I don't think it's a wonder. They are. And also Home Alone 2, she has such like, she doesn't have a lot of lines, but her like arched eyebrow, like the things that she's talking about in film and the way film acting is, I feel like she brought to life for me as a young person seeing her in those films. And God, acting opposite the Cousin It actor who was in a cage going like me, 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 me. I was like, God, I love this woman. I loved chatting with her. What a real thrill. What a real full circle moment, I think, for us.
Folks, thank you for joining us on the You Might Know Her From regular feed. As always, this show is brought to you by Duck You Dragon. That's me, Ann Rodeman, and my bestie, Damian Bellino. We self-produced this show, and we are so happy to have started working on the Patreon, which is the best thing you can do to support us. If you want to hear the original You Might Know Her From actress interview, please go on the Patreon and consider joining. We know that money is tight. We know that things are hard and shit's expensive, but like we appreciate any support that you can give us is much appreciated. If you can't leave a monetary donation, please choose to leave us a 5-star review. That also helps wherever you listen to your podcast, and leave us a little emoji too.
Folks, all the music you hear underscoring each and every episode of You Might Know Her From is by Gang. Gang is from Philly. Gang is 3/4 women. We love Gang.
And if you need to see that Rush Hour 3 clip of Dana Ivey as a nun speaking French, please find it in the show notes. I spend a lot of time. Are you looking at me? Is it not French that she's speaking?
I think it's French and Latin.
Oh, God, you're right. She's so good. I put it in the show notes, folks. That's where you can find each and everything that we talk about on this episode. I like to spend a lot of time archiving it so you can always go back and listen to the things that we talked about and find it easily searchable by tags.
I've sent you a lot of TikToks recently to your TikTok. So maybe when we jump off, you can look at them and make sure you watch them all. Okay. I'm not a person who like wants to hound anybody about like, oh, I sent you memes, because I know that that's annoying. But I'm also not the kind of person who sends things with no consideration for who they're going to.
I know that about you. I trust that when you send me something that's worth watching, I will watch it.
One of the greatest joys, I think, is when you find something and you think like, who else will think this is funny? Who else will enjoy this? Last night, I found this. It was AI made, so I'm so sorry, but it was on Twitter. Someone had like ripped it, but it was like a cartoon piece of salmon that was like a sexy woman.
Okay, I've seen this, and it's like
the butter jumps in between her legs.
These keep getting pushed to me, and it's like, I'm olive oil. I shouldn't be put in pasta when it's hot.
Well, this was butter going into the salmon's vagina, and then it like blew like roe out of her because I guess it's like eggs. I don't know what happened, but I was.
Oh, this is maybe something different.
I was stoned and I was laughing so hard, and I thought, who will like this? And I was like, not Ian. And then I was like, I was going to send it to my friends, Brian and John, our friends, Brian and John. And I was like, Brian's going to be annoying about how it's like sexual and it's like a woman. It's a piece of salmon, but it's like a woman. He's also going to be like, yell at me for what, like sharing AI. And I was like, but his partner, my friend John, will think it's funny. And then John responded and said, I'm also stoned and I'm laughing. And then Brian was like, I'm watching you two sickos have a private text chat. You guys are gross. And I said, I knew you wouldn't like it. And then he watched it and he was like, I hate that. And I said, there's no greater joy than, so I just wanted you to know that whatever I'm sending your way.
Damian, I know this. It's just like one more thing to check. Do you know what I mean? It's like the inbox on TikTok.
She's defending herself here.
Okay. I'm just telling you, I trust you implicitly. If you're sending me a clip, I know it's worth watching. We did a clip night recently and it was such a pleasure, such a joy to really try to find some oldies, but some goodies. And then when a new clip comes down the pipeline that gets added into the queue every year, you think, ooh, this is what the internet is for. I cannot abide by the AI. Salmonussi, I don't know. Like I could maybe get into that.
Remains to be seen. We're going to link it out.